On our first episode of Switchbox, we visit Beerfest.
We talk crime with writer Anthony Horowitz.
We have a news update.
And we have some live music from Jules and Rubies.
This is Switchbox.
Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of Switchbox Fuse TV's brand new chat show here from the University of Manchester Students' Union. My name's Patrick Gunn.
And I'm Vicky Bond. And to kick things off on our first ever episode, this week Paddy went to interview Anthony Horowitz. So how was that?
That was really good. I had a really good time. He was here for the Manchester Literature Festival. He'd just finished writing the new Sherlock Holmes book that he's been writing, been commissioned by the Arthur Conan Doyle estate. And obviously a big hero of mine because he wrote the Alex Rider books, which I loved. So it was such a fantastic opportunity to go and get to see him and talk to him and find out about all this new stuff.
And I hear you really loved the Alex Rider books to the extent that you went and auditioned.
Yeah, no, when the film was kind of announced, I got told about the there was a part going for someone who was my age, and I was part of a drama agency back then because I attempted to be a child actor and didn't really get anywhere with it. So I went to interview for Alex Rider, but then Mr. Pettifer got it. So,
can you imagine if you've got it? Maybe I'd be sitting next to Alex Pettifer on the sofa.
Maybe, yeah. I'm sure he would have got something else though. He's a good-looking man. But anyway, let's take a look and let's go over to me at Manchester Town Hall. Hi, Paddy.
We're here at Manchester Town Hall for the Manchester Literature Festival, here to interview renowned author and screenwriter Anthony Horowitz. Anthony, you've been writing for many years now for TV, books and films, and you've just finished, or I'm assuming you've just finished your new project, which is a new Sherlock Holmes novel, the first official Sherlock Holmes novel.
It is the first Sherlock Holmes novel which has been, as it were, given the stamp of approval by the Doyle estate, the House of Silk, that's right.
Mm-hmm. And for our viewers watching, what exactly is the Conan Doyle estate? What is their role?
Well, when you think about the Doyle estate, you think about a group of people all wearing wing collars with quill pens, writing in leather ledgers in a boardroom somewhere. But actually, all they are perfectly ordinary people who happen to have a bit of blood in them from the Doyle line. They are the descendants, and the amount of power they have is very limited, and they weren't involved in any way at all in the book. Once they had said, do it, I never saw them or met them again.
Very well. So it was their decision to ask you to write the book?
I'm not even sure if that's the case. I don't quite know what happened. I mean, an agent approached me is how I got drawn in. I was asked last year would I like to do it in October, and just said yes without asking too many questions.
You're a big Sherlock Holmes fan yourself?
From the age of 16, yes.
Yeah. And has that been an influence on your writing over the years, or just for this particular book?
It's probably true to say that Sherlock Holmes helped push me towards murder mystery. I mean, I remember reading him so vividly and loving the stories as a boy, and I did love the mysteries and the puzzles, the bad guys, the murders, all the sort of gothic edge to it. And I think that it appealed to something that was already there inside me, which is why I like the stories so much, and may well have led me into murder mystery writing. So it was sort of just a happy coincidence that I found the books.
Did you feel much pressure writing this book? I mean, when you decided to take on the role of the writer, did you feel a bit of pressure having to emulate that kind of famous tradition?
No, not really, actually. I know I should answer, yes, I did, oh my goodness, it's Sherlock Holmes and all these fans out there, but the truth of the matter is that Doyle is such a genius that it was like giving me every gift a writer could ask for. I mean, look at the characters that I had to play with: Holmes and Watson, Lestrade, Mycroft, Moriarty, Mrs. Hudson, the Baker Street irregulars. Look at the world I've been given: Baker Street, the fog, the hansom cabs, the rattling wheels along the cobblestones, and all that sort of stuff. You know, to muck it up would have taken quite a considerable amount of skill.
I was going to ask, did it help having those works to go back to
yeah,
refer
of course, to immerse myself in them. The first thing I did when I was given the job was to read all the books again, which was quite easy. Only 56 short stories and 4 novellas, short novels, and I read them and immersed myself in that world again and began writing. It was quite an easy job in some ways, as I say, because the source material was so good.
Did you feel that you had to alter your writing style, as obviously everyone has their own particular style? Did you feel that you had to alter it to kind of emulate Conan Doyle? Or?
No, well, yes, I did, of course. I mean, what I had to do was to try and have the same sort of pace and excitement, the sort of page-turning quality and the action that you would get almost in an Alex Rider book, you know, something for a modern audience. I didn't want to write a fossil that would just exist in the Victorian age as a parody, so it had to be fresh and original. But at the same time, I did have to change my style quite a lot. I had to write in a 19th century idiom, which is slightly sort of longer sentences, more description than I usually put into a book. I had to very much acquire the voice of Watson, and I had to work out everything that makes those books work and then do it myself. So yes, it was very much writing. I think the best compliment you can pay me in the book is if you say I'm invisible. If you don't notice I'm there, it's meant to be the voice of Doyle. Or Holmes, or Watson.
In a way, you have taken on similar tasks throughout your career. You wrote a lot of TV adaptations for Poirot and Midsummer Murders from the Agatha Christie novels. Did you find this similar, or was that a bit of a different task writing it for TV?
Yeah, my very, very first job writing television was Robin of Sherwood, and I had to acquire the voice of the senior writer, who was a man called Richard Carpenter, who taught me an awful lot of what I now do. And my first job was to be like him, not to try and change what he was doing. Again, with Poirot, I came on board as a junior writer. David Suchet had already created a very memorable version of the character. He had certain traits, and I just followed those. And I get quite annoyed sometimes when adapters come in and take a piece of work by, shall we say, Dickens or Trollope or something, and then decide that actually they know better than the writer, and they're going to do their own thing and stamp their own personality on it. I would never do that, and I didn't do it with Poirot. I didn't really do it with The House of Silk.
Interesting. And obviously, you mentioned earlier the Alex Rider series, which I personally have to talk to you about because I was such a huge fan of them when I was younger. I mean, are you proud of what happened with those books?
I'll tell you one of the things that makes me most proud about the Alex Rider books is meeting people like you, who are now in sort of a career in the media and who once read me. And, you know, whether you like it or not, I am a few molecules in your upbringing and in the decisions that have brought you to become a TV presenter and interviewer and all that sort of stuff. And I'm absolutely, you know, it reminds me I'm getting old, which is less pleasing, but it is one of the greatest pleasures, I tell you, in my life now, to meet people like yourself who read me when they were young and are now, as it were, working in my world.
Are there any future plans for Alex Rider? I mean, there was obviously the film adaptation in 2006.
There's nothing on the way in terms of films as far as I know. There is one more sort of add-on book, which is a story of Yasin Grigorovich, the assassin who turns up in some of the books. I'm going to write a book about him. But beyond that, I always said I was going to make it finite and not do the awful thing of hanging out too long and writing books that were less good than the earlier ones, just going off the boil. So I deliberately stopped when Alex turned 15, which was, of course, Scorpio Rising. And I have no plans to revisit him again.
That's fair enough. Like I said, there was the film adaptation, and of course Sherlock Holmes has recently and will soon again be converted into the big screen. Did you see the first film? That
yes, I did. I saw the Robert Downey Jr. film and was quite surprised that I liked it. I was really expecting to hate every minute of it. I don't think it has an awful lot to do with Sherlock Holmes, to be honest with you. It's sort of a strange hybrid. Indiana Holmes, I think it does, and that's really what it is. It's a swashbuckling adventure film, which owes very little to the books. And I hope that they don't take too many liberties with the next film. I've already seen on the trailer the Holmes in drag, and that really begins to worry me a little bit. But, you know, we will see very soon.
There was also the BBC adaptation as well, which was very successful. Sherlock, did you see any of that?
I certainly saw all three of those, and Stephen Moffat, the principal writer on that, is a very good friend of mine. And I admire it a lot. I think what he's done is to distill the essence of the books. Yes, he's transposed them to the modern times, but he's done so in a way that leaves it intact. He hasn't actually damaged the fabric of those characters and of that world, and it's a great series. I love it.
And also talking of Stephen Moffat, who's just been involved in the big release of the new Tintin movie, you came out to the BBC and said that you were involved in writing with the sequel of that?
Well, that is also thanks down to Stephen, actually, because he introduced me to Kathy Kennedy, the producer, and suggested I might be able to help her. And thanks to that introduction, I've got drawn into the world, and I am indeed supposedly writing the second film in that series, assuming there is one. I mean, the first one has got to be an international box office smash.
Very true.
First of all, as we speak, it is #1 in the UK, which is a good start, but it has to work in America as well. And of course, when you're working on a huge, big-budget American film, there's many a slip along the way, and it could very well be Anthony Who in a week or two's time. You know, you just don't know. Maybe I'll make it to the end. We'll see.
And are you a fan of Tintin de Hergé's work?
A huge fan. Tintin was one of the reasons I began writing. I mean, when I was 8 years old, I read Tintin. I loved those books. I wanted to be a writer because Tintin is a writer. He's a journalist, and I wanted to be like him.
Definitely. And finally, just to end on a note about the new book, how pleased are you with it? Are you happy with how it's turned out? Because it must be so hard to take on a book recreating that you loved for such a long time and just have to say to yourself, right, that's it, I've finished. That's as much as I can do.
I'm very, very pleased with it. I think it's as good as I could have done. It's the reason why I'm not going to do another one, because I don't think I could do a second one as well as I've done the first. I'm delighted with the fact that Holmesians have so far given it the thumbs up. That is to say, they don't feel that I have tampered with the great man. Very few people, Jenny Murray, who is interviewing me tonight, is one of them, have guessed the ending, but she did, but that's okay too. And so far, it's only been 2 days since it was published. All seems well.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Anthony, for talking to us here at Switchbox, and good luck with tonight.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, Paddy. Some fine reporting there. Fantastic interviewer, I think. Yeah.
Oh, the best.
Anyway, not only was Anthony Horowitz rounding about, Beerfest has been on.
Yeah, that's
right. Beerfest here at the Student Union, set up by RAG, of course. Well done to them.
Did you attend Beerfest this year?
I did attend Beerfest. I'm a very big fan of beer.
And what was your favourite?
My favourite? Oh, I don't know. Old Tom's good, but it's strong.
Strong.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people would like it.
Right. The only one I tried was chocolate stout. I wasn't really there for the beer. I was there
for the atmosphere.
Yeah, the atmosphere and the people in lederhosen. It was brilliant.
Well, anyway, one of our roving reporters was there, Rachel. So let's go over and have a look at what she was up to at Beerfest.
Hi, I'm Rachel Cochrane. I'm outside the Student Union in Manchester, and this Saturday evening we're about to attend Beerfest, one of many events organised by Manchester RAG. Let's go inside. Who's the coordinator of Beerfest, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the differences that happened in this year compared to the other years.
Hiya.
So how long has Beerfest been going on for?
As far as I'm aware, over 20 years. It started off as a UNIST in North Campus, and it's just been going ever since then.
And how long have you been coordinating it?
Just this year, but I've been involved for the past 3 years really. I started off as volunteer behind the bar, and then last year I organised the comedy, and then this year I'm organising the entire event.
What's the differences between this year and the other years that's taken place?
Well, usually we do it in North Campus, but because of health and safety issues we've had to move it here. But also it's better here because it's more central to the university. We can bring in loads more people, and as seen last night when we actually sold out, we had over 950 people here.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Friday, getting down on Friday.
I'm joined here now by some of the bar volunteers. Hello. Hello. What's your favourite beer?
Actually, I don't drink beer.
We're on a quest now to find a beer expert in the Student Union, and who better to ask than good old Lily over here. Hello! Basically, I want you to give me your strongest beer.
Okay.
What's that?
Old Tom.
Old Tom. Give us an Old Tom.
It's 8.
Thank you very much. Woo! Let's go find out who knows what this is. He's thinking about it. A piddle under the river? I'm afraid not. It's an Old Tom. I said don't taste it. What is it then? I thought you were an expert.
Can I see the list? No, I've been here for the first time.
First time?
Cheers.
Okay.
Can I guess?
You can have a guess.
It's definitely standing out.
It's definitely not standing out, I'm afraid. It's Old Tom. Never mind. See you later. 1, 2, 3. Beerfest! Woo!
Bala tu cuerpo, alegría, Macarena, que tu cuerpo para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Bala tu cuerpo, alegría, Macarena, Macarena. Bala tu cuerpo, alegría, Macarena, que tu cuerpo para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Bala tu cuerpo, alegría, Macarena, Macarena. Bala tu cuerpo, alegría, Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Bala tu cuerpo, alegría, Macarena, Macarena.
Our bands are all locally sourced, so we're trying to promote Manchester, and there's a lot of student bands, and they're all doing it
Beerfest. If you want to get involved with any of the other brag events, here's their contact details.
Right, now for the hard-hitting news stories from right here in Manchester and all across the world. It's over to our news reporters Paddy and Vicky in the news studio. Welcome to the Switchbox newsroom with Patrick Gunn and Vicky Bond. We're here to bring you the biggest stories from the university, the surrounding areas of Manchester and the world. First up in university news, the university is planning on building a new cancer research centre with intentions on work starting on the £17.5 million development in May 2012 and finishing in December the next year. The monster referendum is underway at the Students' Union, where students have been asked to vote whether or not they agree on the new constitution outlined. For details of this and to vote, visit www.umsu.manchester.ac.uk. And finally, in sporting news, success for the university as Rebecca Guy, swimmer, has won gold at the Canada Cup in Toronto.
In Manchester, homeowners in Leamington with unauthorised extensions have been told they must remove them or face court action. Rumours are spreading that Rihanna is looking for a home in Manchester following her recent Emmy and Arena performances. A man has been arrested after 8 armed robberies in the space of 2 weeks. And a non-emergency phone number has been launched to help reduce the number of 999 calls. The number is 101 and will be handled by the Greater Manchester Police.
And finally, in recent national headlines, Iranian diplomats have been ordered to leave the UK by 2 p.m. after the British embassy in Tehran was stormed. David Cameron is discussing the Eurozone debt crisis with French Prime Minister Nicolas Sarkozy. Jeremy Clarkson's comments on the public sector's work strike has received over 21,000 complaints after he talked about how he would have them all shot. His apology has been accepted by the BBC. And around a fifth of England's universities have had plans to change their fees approved just before the upcoming deadline.
That was the news. Thank you very much for watching. And if you want to get involved or contact Fuse TV, visit the Fuse TV Facebook page or www.fusetv.co.uk.
Right, anyway, we're coming up to the end of our show now. I think it's been a fairly enjoyable one for the first episode.
Yeah, it's a really good first episode.
We've interviewed Anthony Horowitz, we've had Jules and the Rubies on, we went to Beerfest, got slightly too drunk maybe, maybe a little bit. I think I might have been one of those Macarena people, I can't remember. Right, but anyway guys, thanks very much for watching, and to play us out on our first ever show, we're over to Jules and the Rubies.
Kill the crack of light screaming through the curtain, 'cause I don't care about the time of day if it's gonna hurt your eyes. It's so warm in here, we'll never get outside. You don't realize the days I waste just by looking at you. Don't say much, but if you walked away, what could I do? Just one kiss wash away this worry, so be still. I tried a letter, I got so far, but I couldn't find the words. It was better when I sing this small show you. How can it be that we're far apart, but still so goddamn close? I wanna swim the sea, rip off all your clothes. You don't realize the days I waste just by looking at you. Don't say much, but if you walked away, what could I do? And just one kiss could wash away this worry, so be here. 'Cause everything I see is made of gold. It shines, it's mine. Everything is separated. We can work out the puzzle. Our fingers arms unsteady. We try to tie. They
Bye.